All right, and we are live. So let me share my screen. I think it's this one. Share. All right. So I'm just gonna go over extensions, subscripts, and protocols real quick and kind of describe what each one is and what they do. So I'm gonna kind of take this in a different order than I shared in class today, but I'm going to start with protocols down here. So a protocol basically is an interface in Java. I mean, they're very similar. Like Brother Barney, even normally when you ask him, is it like this? He usually's like, no, it's like it's different, But he's like, yeah, it's like it, but there's some differences.
What were the differences again?
Okay, and so a protocol, I'll kind of show this example. The difference is you can have optional things in your protocol. Okay.
That's right.
So, whereas in an interface, everything has to be applied. So let's kind of make it sense right here by looking at the first protocol. So I created this protocol called Animal, and I just have a couple properties here: the number of legs and the age. And then I had added two functions, make sound and travel. Okay, and so then if we look at my implementation, I created a lion class and I implement this protocol in it. So the lion class has to conform to this protocol or it doesn't work. So I specified the number of legs, I specified the age, and then I specified those two functions, the make sound and the travel. And so now my lion class conforms to that protocol. And then right here, I do the same thing with the strut. I made a bird that conforms to that protocol, and it has a number of legs, an age, make sound, and travels. Okay, and so I kind of forgot to tell you real quick. So right here in the protocols, you have what you call get and set. And so this means you can get a property or you can set a property when you use the protocol. So,
and what is it by default? Is default it will get and set?
I think by default it's just a read only, so it's just a get. So I believe you have to specify the set if you want to use it. So
okay.
Actually, let me look that up real quick just to make sure I'm telling you the right things. Protocol extension. Okay, whoops. Yeah, so I'm not positive.
Okay, we could probably wait till after the video.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'm pretty positive it's a read only if you don't specify. So, so then, anyways, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Well, back to the code. So I create I create Simba, and he's a lion class, and then I create Pete, and he's a bird strut. Okay, so I have these two things right here, and then right here, Simba, I set his number of legs to something, and then I set his number of legs to something else. But I thought that the protocol, it was only, it was only a get. So why can I do that? And the reason why is how it works is I'm using the type lion. So the lion's conforming to the protocol, but I'm not using that protocol to specify, if that makes sense. So I can change that value because by default classes you can do that for attributes. And so we, I look here, I change, I can use those different functions in the protocol. But so here's a different way to do it. We have Scar, and I'm going to make him of a type animal, so he can be any animal, and then he's going to be specifically a lion. And then if we look and we try and change Scar's number of legs, that doesn't work. So that's where the protocol get and set implements. And this is probably more of a way you'd want to do it. So because if you wanted to have like a zoo or something, and it had a dictionary of animals or something, a collection of animals, you'd want to do a collection of animals instead of a collection of lions, because all you could have is lions. So, you had a zoo, you could have a lion in there and a bird and a tiger and different animals that conform, and you can specify which type they are in it. So, and then the second part is, here, this is what makes protocols different than an interface in Java, is you can do optional things. So right here, we have to do this Objective-C, and it's because I'm specifying, these optionals and Objective-C, these attributes in Objective-C. So basically, all I did is I made an optional variable, nautical miles travel, and an optional function, return nautical miles. So that would make sense, for like an airplane or something, but not really a truck. So then right here is I create a airplane, and it implements the protocol vehicle. And then, it has these, I implement everything in it. And then, I can use the airplane. But then the truck, I don't want the nautical miles, so I just leave it out, and it still conforms to the protocol and still compiles. And then when you do it, you can just set it. See, so right here, the airplane, I have to set everything, but the truck, I only have to set the properties it has. Whereas, and then I can't call the return nautical miles function with the truck because it doesn't exist. So then going back, so now I'm going to just move to extensions real quick. Extensions are a way to extend the functionality of a data type. So you can have a class and you can extend it, or you could extend the string class to do something. And so we look at the extension real quick. So I just extend this double, and I have this attribute, or not this attribute, this, what's it called? This functionality.
Like a closure?
Yeah, it's not a closure. I'm trying to think of the word Brother Barney used. Because it's not a property, because it's not just storing value, but we're adding functionality to our thing. So I'll try and hopefully I can think of a correct word to describe it. So we're just adding functionality to our double class, and we're adding the functionality absolute value. And so what it's going to do is it's going to take a double, and if it's less than 0, we're going to times it by -1, so we get the absolute value, or else we're going to return the same value. So we look right here. So I have this double -4.5, and I print out double dot absolute value, and as we see, it prints out down here 4.5, and so that works. So we're adding functionality. So that's how you can add as many functionalities. So I was seeing examples someone did. They added timesing things by like the metric system. So it's like kilometers and meters and stuff, and it times it by different values to things. So you could quickly just be like this .km, and it works. So it's pretty cool. So here's another. And so then another cool things you can do with extensions is you can just extend a protocol. So I create this protocol as text and string, and it's just a get. And then in my extension, I just implement the protocol right there. And then I implement all the things that were required in the protocol and the extension. And so then now my double and my int classes, they'll return, if I do as text, they'll return these strings that say these values. And so, I go back here and I call it as text. I create a double and an int, and I call as text. And you can see they print out right there. And I can even do as double absolute value as text because I added 2 extensions to it. And then here's something bad you can kind of do with extensions is you can override existing functionality to do what you want. So the string class has an append method, and then you can put a string, and you just have your string with that character. Well, I did this mutating. You have to do that when you're overriding this the class,
An already existing
functionality. So if you're trying to override yourself,
you just use override.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like a defined thing that Apple did, you use mutate.
Yeah, you mutate because you're trying to mutate the self value. So you have to do mutating. And so then right here, I do, so right now what this should do is I create this test string. This is a test. And I create this character C. And then I do test string append the char. And that should append, it should say this is a test string C. That's the default functionality. But then when I print it out, since I override it, this function no longer works, which is what I did in my extension as I set, if they do the append, that's what they are going to get. So that's kind of nasty. You can kind of really muck up with things in the API and stuff you don't want. So the last things I want to show you is subscripts. So subscripts are really cool. They are basically just, an array or a dictionary. It works by a subscript. So you put things in the brackets and you can pull back values or you can set values in the brackets. And you can do kind of some interesting things here. So right here, I create first a strut multiplier, and I add this subscript, and it's going to take an int and it's going to return an int. And so then when I get the value, what I'm going to do is return the value times the multiplier, so whatever I pass in the value. And so then right here, I create this new multiplier strut, and it has a value of 2, and then I can just do 2, 3, and it turns, and we look at it, and it just returns the value 6. 2 times 4 is that, 2 times 23, and it just returns the value. And then I can't, if I try and set to that, it doesn't work because this is only a read-only subscript. And then, this is just another example. I did percentage, so you could get the percentage really quick, of the value. And then here's, I created a little more complicated example. First I create this, a person object, and the person just has a name, and age, and a job. I don't even remember where I defined the person object. Oh, it's right here. That's interesting. It works out of order even. Okay. That'd probably make more sense. Okay, so there's the person object, and then I create this people array, and it just takes, it's just a dictionary that, it has an ID and then a person. So, and then right here, I create this company class, and it takes I have a people dictionary right here, and it takes, the ID and then the person,
for the key.
the int for the key, and then the person. And so then I'm just passing the one I already created up here. And so then what I do is I create a subscript, and so I'm going to pass in an int, and it's going to return a person. So I can do get, return, and then I'm calling the people array, the ID in there, and I'm going to return that, or I can set the new value here. So, right here, I can call Walmart, and there's nothing in it. I add, Betty into the first slot, and I add Kylie to the second slot, and I can just call them that. And that would save you. Instead, you could just do the class subscript, and you could call it and return the value, or else otherwise you'd have to do Walmart.people. And then do the bracket. And call the dictionary. So, that works, and I can set values to it too the same way, assigning it. I'm setting it. And then it's cool things with subscripts, you can do any slot you want. So I can do a -2. And we look right here, it assigns it to -2, the slot. So you can assign it to any slot you want. And then, just to kind of close up, you can do even strings. So I have this string subscript that just appends things, and so I can do, appender world, and it'll return the value plus that, and, I can set it. So well, that's kind of subscripts, protocols, and extensions. You can just talk to me if you guys have any questions. Thanks. Bye.